Denshattack is a fast-paced, score-chasing adventure that rarely keeps you on the rails in all the best ways.
Witness peak beauty!
While it might seem reductive to compare any game to its peers, there really is no better way of describing the type of experience Denshattack delivers other than saying that it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater meets Jet Set Radio. True, a train might not immediately strike you as the most ideal vehicle in which to pull off skateboard-style kickflips, rail grinds and ollies within a cel-shaded dystopian Japan, yet the sheer genius of Denshattack's core score-chasing magic is just how quickly pulling off such maneuvers across all manner of crazy routes soon becomes second nature. This unexpected combination of expressive elements easily results in one of the most surprising yet tightly executed games of the year so far. It also helps that it's a distinct love letter to Japanese culture that proves incredibly hard to put down. One of the biggest attractions of Denshattack is of course its visuals. By taking a page out of the Jet Set Radio rulebook of design, this version of Japan set in the far future goes against typical dystopian norms by being drenched in colour. The yellow rails that you ride on always pop to always help you keep on track, while the surrounding regions of Osaka, Tokyo and others have never looked more beautiful thanks to the eye-popping colour palette they're coated in. The vibrancy of said visuals somehow even manages to match the same semblance of fun and excitement found in your on-screen actions, always looking distinctive without ever being too distracting. Speaking of which, the art of Denshattacking posits quite an initially steep learning curve since a lot is always asked of you, whether it's wall grinding on billboards, double grinding across separate tracks, or switching up gravity to see you drift around on the rails above. This is a fast-paced riding game where each maneuver requires its own unique button input and your reaction times are regularly being tested. Thankfully, the developers at Undercoders always do a good job of on-ramping you nicely. Each new region you'll visit, by and large, introduces a new form of Denshattacking one at a time, building upon a trick-driven foundation that already had you swooping around tunnels and landing using an endo in order to maintain your current trick score combo. Denshattack isn't the type of game that will suit everyone's tastes then, due to how much you need to keep alert, stay aware of oncoming obstacles, and maximize what moves from the in-game Trictionary you can use whilst in the air. But for the right person familiar with the structure of Tony Hawk and the like, you eventually settle into a sort of flow state that makes acts like wall riding, vert jumping, and track switching feel almost like a rhythm game, to the point that flicking both the left and right analog sticks in certain ways feels like a real workout. Better yet, the inclusion of optional objectives exclusive to each track too, known in-game as dares, further ups the completionist, competitive nature that score-chasing arcade games like this provide, testing your ability to take a certain route or collect a certain number of collectibles in a way that always had me returning to levels, if only to up my rating from bronze to gold. Are some types of obstacles you must account for easier to read and work around than others? Absolutely, but despite regularly crashing, Denshattack's instant restart function makes it easy to overcome certain tricky track portions in a way that never dissuades you from wanting to jump back in. It would have been enough for Denshattack to have you race your way through all kinds of inventive environments, and it does, believe me, yet it constantly ups the ante again by shaking up these straight get-to-the-end missions with a flurry of different event types. One sees you need to reach a certain score by maintaining a high enough trick combo multiplier within a certain map, while another has you racing against up to 30 other rival trains to the finish, wherein you're often encouraged to smash them off the track in any way you can. My favourite events, however, are those where you must complete multiple objectives, but you get to do so in any order, since it allows me to select my own routes through an area and go more at my own pace. These events provide a small but subtle slowdown to the usual flow, true, but emphasize exploration a lot more in a way that is satisfying. You'd think that keeping the action mostly on rails would mean a fairly straightforward plot, especially given the focus on player expression. In actual fact though, Denshattack offers up a rather distinct take on a far future dystopia, admittedly one where the act of kick-flipping trains has become its own celebrated art, yet it also takes the time to remind you why it's important to stick it to the corporations, not least since most humans in the game are now confined to living under domes and subjected to regularly broadcasted puppet propaganda. Sadly, the story of Emmy herself, rising from a simple ramen courier to professional Denshattacker, isn't as interesting as the world in which it sits, but this is mostly made up for by a wider cast of interesting characters that you'll get to meet along the way. Easily the biggest perk of the story are the more set-piece driven levels it often allows for, from battling it out with a Gundam mech in the style of a Power Rangers finale, to escaping from a giant kaiju monster that you're constantly having to dodge while racing at night. Several missions in Denshattack feel like true cinematic events, further feeding into the anime inspirations found throughout in sheer impressive over-the-top fashion. Ultimately, Denshattack is an extremely special arcade experience that is unabashedly itself, testing your reaction times within a zany take on apocalyptic Japan that rewards player expression and gives you the kick-flipping tools to do so. Its incredibly fast-paced, unbridled nature might not be for everyone, and the story it spins mightn't be anything too special. Yet for players craving a different flavour of score-chasing magic that is well equipped to reward their mastery of a pretty odd made-up sport, Denshattack is off the rails in all the best ways. Simply put, this is easily one of 2026's most distinct looking and feeling indie darlings. We at All Out Gaming give Denshattack a 4 out of 5. So there you have it guys, in terms of my full review thoughts on Denshattack. Do you plan on picking this one up? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below. Then, when you've done that, why not leave this video a like if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to the All Out Gaming YouTube channel to stay up to date with even more videos like this. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.